Hey developers, in this video we will be adding a simple command history feature to our command console. I'm going to be using the console from my building a command console video, but this feature has no dependencies on my implementation, so you can use the bulk of it with any console. First, let's connect the input bar's GUI input signal to the console window. We will use this to watch for key events. Now we need a way to handle the message history. I'm going to wrap this into a class at the top of the console window script. If you want, you can always move this class into its own script file. The logic here is pretty straightforward. We have an array for the history that we will treat as a queue, pushing to the front and popping off the back, and we have a selection that we will use to index the array. I'm using -1 to represent an unselected state. The first function adds the message to the history and sets the selection to its unselected state, then trims any history beyond the limit. I'm including an optional variable for the limit, just in case you'd like to plumb through your own value. The next two functions are responsible for moving and returning the current selection. Note that we're returning an empty string if the selection state is unselected to make it easier for reverting the input bar to an empty field when the user advances past the most recent history. All we've got to do now is instantiate a message buffer and hook it up. For the GUI input signal, we check that it's a key event, early out if the key isn't pressed, and set the input bar's text to the history's next or previous selection according to the input, which in this case will be the up and down arrow keys. We also need to update the input bar's cursor position so that it's at the end of the string. And finally, we just push the input into the message history from the text enter signal. Now you've got the ability to step through your previous commands instead of having to write them out again. This is especially useful if you make a mistake when entering a long command.